I welcome you all to my YouTube channel, Learn with Michael. My name is Jose Michael. I'm an educator, soft skill trainer, career coach, and a motivational speaker. Today's session would be on professional presentation skills. This topic is divided into two parts, part one and part two. The first session, in today's session, we are going to cover about the part one session, and we'll be continuing the part two in the second video. So without further ado, let's get started. I'll be sharing my screen now. I hope you are able to see my screen. Right. So professional presentation skills part one by Jose Michael. Now before we jump into the topic, I would like to introduce myself. So as I told you, this is my profile all about into the industry last 7 years. I'm very passionate about sharing knowledge and influencing people to develop their career and give them a better lifestyle. I've addressed over 5,000 plus people across India. That includes students, working professionals in various industries, and I also conduct interviews of my guests on the YouTube channel Learn with Michael. So I initiated very lately in the mindset of saying that it's just not me who can give value. There are people who have already achieved a lot of things in life. They can also come in and they can share the value for my audience in the channel. So do support the channel. You're already watching the video, so do subscribe, like, and share with your family and friends if this session gives you some value. So let's get started. Now I would like to start this session with a quote: if you can speak, you can influence. If you can influence, you can change lives. I'll read it again. If you can speak, you can influence. If you can influence, you can change lives. Trust me, it's just not the appearance what we carry. Yes, of course, that is one of the parts, but you need to speak well. You need to influence people. Influencing will definitely change and transform people's life. So, the need of the hour is to become a good public speaker. Great. Now, the topic is very interesting now. Most people feel anxiety. So, what people fear the most, right? So, number one is snakes. Yeah. So, actually, this is a study done by one of the universities. So, the researchers say that what people feel, you know, most anxiety about, what people fear the most. Number one is snakes. Number two is public speaking. The topic is all about that. Number three is death, fire. Some people are really afraid of fire. Some people feel very giddy, or they might faint if they are standing at a very tall terrace, or maybe somewhere on the tall buildings. They actually feel giddy if they look down. So some people have this height phobia also. uh, Talking about dogs, this is pretty interesting. If you are walking on a street and there is a dog near you, opposite to you, who's just maybe it is just there, but then you are afraid that the dog is staring at you, or even if it is just sleeping aside, you actually fear. Some people fear and they wait for their friends to accompany them, and they wait for somebody to pass by the street, and then they go along. So this happens. Yeah. And some people are afraid of insects. When they see a cockroach or maybe spiders, they don't like it and they scream it out. So these are the different things what people are afraid of. And it is very surprising to see that for death it is number three, and public speaking is number two. Right. The second most fearful thing in a human's life is public speaking skill. It's not even death. Okay, are you ready to die? Okay, fine, dead. But then public speaking gives a lot of tension, stress, anxiety altogether before you actually perform. And this anxiety is very normal, it is very natural. But the only thing is, this nervousness or this anxiety before the public speaking, what you get, before the presentation, what you get, it's completely fine. But if that overrules, that is something difficult what we need to work upon. The nervousness should not overrule your mindset. You need to take control of that nervousness too. Now, why are you afraid? Now, why are you afraid before giving some presentation in college or maybe in office? What's wrong? So let's see one by one. What is it all about? The number one point is you are at the center of attraction. So if there are 10 people in the room, 20 cameras on you, so everybody is looking at you, you become the limelight, the center of attention, the center of attraction, where people will look at you. People are watching you while you are presenting. That's why you are afraid of. That's one. Lack of experience, right? All of a sudden, I tell you, tomorrow is the first presentation. Go ahead, you know. So it will be a very difficult task. So you are afraid of. You can ask some professional speakers. Ask their first experience. How was it? They will be able to explain to you better when they actually started. And the case was also with me, so I'll share it later. But lack of experience also people are afraid of. Feelingness of strangeness. That means when you give presentation, you are very okay or you are comfortable with the people of your own team members. You know, if somebody from the other team is joining in the meeting, you feel so conscious about giving the presentation because you are so comfortable with the known people, the known team members. As soon as a stranger enters the room, there is a problem. Yeah, or else you have to give a presentation to a stranger altogether. Everybody is strange, they're not from your college, they're not from your office or your team. So then you also feel strangeness, feeling of strangeness comes into picture. Fear of rejection or embarrassment. Okay, so you feel that what if people will reject me after this presentation? What if there are some embarrassing moment? I will feel embarrassed when I give my presentation. So there are a lot of thoughts which will run within you. Fear of looking stupid in front of others. Generally, this happens in the college presentations. Uh, your friends might laugh at you, things go wrong. There are possibilities. It might be work culture also, at the workplace also, where if something goes wrong, you might be counted as an idiot or maybe you're stupid. In front of everybody. People will start gossiping about your presentation, will talk about you, the way you performed. So these things come in your mind. And finally, most of us have this problem of fear that your mind will go blank, and many of them all have also experienced the same. So they actually prepare well for the presentation, and as soon as they stand in front of the crowd, they go blank. If you are also one of them, again, that's natural. But there are techniques how you can overcome that. We're going to look at those aspects also. So far clear? So you might be, most of you who are watching this video might be, the reasons why you are afraid will be of these categories only. So please relate to the anxiety or why you are afraid kind of a concept. Yeah. Now, when you're feeling anxious, and what is the effects of anxiety? That is, number one, feeling your heart starts beating faster. So you have the feeling that your heart is beating faster. So it is so common. And if you know you are the next person who's going to give the presentation, your heartbeats become 4x. It becomes 4x. It is actually your heart will come out. That is the situation. If sometimes if you have that anxious feeling before your presentation. So the effects of anxiety is different for different people. Yeah. Some may experience the heartbeat going fast. Some people feel mouth getting dried up, right? So they drink a lot of water, but still they get the dryness in the mouth. Get nausea, yeah. So nausea feeling like pukish kind of feeling, yeah. Uh, some people encounter this, experience this symptom also. Feeling like fainting, to just collapse. Yeah, even this is one of the symptoms before your presentation when you feel anxiety. Yeah, when you feel anxious, your voice trembles. Because it's something like not really when you feel cold. You're shivering and your voice trembles. So something like that. Your voice trembles here and there. It shivers. Your body shivers. Your legs and body is shaking. Or sometimes it is also with me when I started my presentation. I mean the speaking career altogether. My hands used to get all sweaty, and some points are not mentioned here, but just want to tell out of my experience. Even if the AC is on, like if the temperature is like 18, still you feel very hot. Sometimes it is like 24 or 26, still you feel very cold. Yeah, so you're sweating even if you're under the fan. So these kind of things are also some symptoms which is the effect of anxiety. So these were the problems or the challenges listed down so far. Now let's see what are the points and how we can overcome that fear. 5 simple steps to overcome fear. Number one, well prepared. These 5 topics are the main topics. There are subtopics also. We are going to discuss it in few minutes now. First is be well prepared. Second is about practice. Third, have a backup. Fourth, reduce fear of your audience. And fifth is relax yourself. So now let's deep dive into each point and look at how we can be prepared, how we can practice, what is to have backup, and how to reduce fear for your audience and relaxing yourself. Okay, be well prepared. Leave nothing to chance. That means laying out your strategy. How are you going to start your speech? What all things are you going to cover? So structure the entire plan of action, what you're going to speak. Ensure all the materials are ready. Okay, whether it is a handout, your notes, uh, any sort of PPT or something, a video, what you want to show in your presentation. So any material related pertaining to your presentation, keep it all ready. Make unseen happening plans. So I would like to elaborate more here is about have a plan. If for say example, if you have to give a presentation on a PPT, you have a projector, there's a projector available in the room where you're going to give your presentation, and just think that if not that presentation, if not that PPT, if not the projector is not working, what will you do? So be ready for all the unseen happening plans also, right? uh, your meeting would be, your presentation would be post lunch in your office. Maybe that morning meeting got cancelled and your presentation is preponed earlier. So giving a presentation at 2 p.m. and giving a presentation early morning, I mean, after 2 o'clock, I mean, after 2 p.m. post lunch, it's difficult, it's challenging. So you need to have a lot of preparation for that particular timing. So 2 p.m. presentation preponed to early morning. Maybe early morning presentation postponed to second half. So be ready. If the projector is not working, you're going to give a PPT presentation. What if there is no power supply? Example, just a backup. The projector is not working. Something might go technically wrong. So be ready with the unseen happening plans. That's what I mean here. Then know your material. Know exactly what you are going to talk about. Have a good outline of facts and information. You know, uh, generally, generally the presentations what you need to give at your workplace or in college, it is an anticipated day. That means you get a day or two to prepare. It's just not on the spot. So you need to prepare what you're going to actually speak in front of the audience or speak in front of the team members or the uh, audience altogether wherever you give your presentation. Have a very good outline of facts and figures. Since I've told mentioned already, it's about an anticipated day. So you can prepare facts and figures, numbers, because when you talk about stories and show numbers and talk about figures, it triggers the brains of the audience, and there is a lot of engagement and involvement from the audience too. So your presentation will not go boring, right? So there are many people who are using cell phone in India. That's an example. Say out of 130 crore people in India, approximately 76 crore people are using mobile phone, and out of which only 57 crore people are using internet on their cell phones. So the numbers will increase the engagement of the audience with you. They will be with you, they'll be listening to you. So prepare those material accordingly. Know the conditions. If you have to speak in a microphone, a mic, or a collar mic, or a cordless mic, whatever mic you have, the podium, what you have, if you have a podium to give a presentation, it's a small room, a bigger room, is it a big hall or banquet where you're going to give your presentation, right? Visualize how you will be doing things. Okay, it's about the way you enter, the way people will come, people will enter the room, the meeting room. How will you start the presentation? Who will you address first? So just have a visualization in your mind before you start the presentation. Okay, fine, this is what things will happen. Then last 10 minutes I'll have for question and answer. Once I answer everything, I say thank you and finish it off, and I go to my place and I sit, right? So visualize the entire presentation altogether, because that will give you more confidence. So that is exactly my third point here. Going through this entire process, will relax you and give more confidence, because you already rehearsed in your mind how things are. See, uncertainty will definitely come. If you see the performers who are performing on the stage for award functions, they do a lot of rehearsals, right? So there might be some improvisation in the skit when they perform or when they dance, but that doesn't mean that they're going to not do the rehearsal part. Whether it is a live performance, whether it is an edited show, whatever, they actually rehearse and practice before they go on the main day or the real time when they are performing. So even you have to actually visualize things before you continue on the main day. Now, practice your speech. Practice alone many times. Speak out loud, speak looking into a mirror, stand in the corner and speak, record your practice. When I started my initial days, I used to practice 15 times before I used to go for a class and speak to a set of people. Practice makes a public speaker perfect. It's the game of preparation. Preparation is the key when it comes to public speaker. I will definitely give you some insight, tricks, and secrets about a public speaker and how easily and effortlessly you can become a good orator. Those tips are in store. I'll be giving it to you the sessions when we talk about it. Yeah, completely. At the end, I would like to give that entire overview tips there, right? Then speaking in front of the mirror, that is mirror practice. You will know how will you look in front of people, right? Then you can change your body language, your tonality. You stand in the corner of the wall and you can start, by the wall, you can just stand there and you can start practicing. Record your audio, record your video, listen to your voice, listen to your, watch your video. How are you looking? So you can improvise it, you can improve. So video recording is a proof that you have something concrete to see, look at, right? So it's very important to practice your speech. I'm pretty sure that it might be very embarrassing to start with your friend or your sibling or your parents, sometimes. So practice alone. For practicing, you should be comfortable, and that in that comfortable zone, you'll also gain confidence slowly, gradually. So that is because that is a preparation phase, the preparing, right? So once that is done, we can gradually. I will tell you in a few minutes. We're going to cover that also. So practicing alone is one thing. Now, what I was talking to you about just a minute ago, it's about practice before your friends. Get you closer to the real world of speaking to a group. Even one person is good for this type of practice. Call your sibling, call your parents, one of them, call one of your friends, practice. Ask your friend or a person who is sitting opposite, against you, who's listening to your presentation, ask them to give you a feedback, right? You can also ask them to record yourself, record your video. So it gives a little bit more confidence booster when you do it alone, and now you have at least one person in front of you, right? Now, coming back to the third point, that is having a backup. We must have a backup in case you forget what you want to say, right? So plan A, plan B, so something like that. So you can have a cheat sheet, a small kind of a cue card or paper card or something, on a piece of paper. Just write the bullet points. Just write the bullet points. It's okay to see the bullet points, but you should not read. Regardless, you should not read. You can refer it, say it. Okay, start speaking. Explain. Many people, what they do, they actually look at the presentation. They read, and they explain it to the audience. In college also, many students just read the PPT. So don't read. The audience, they are aware how to read. You have to explain. Presentation about this, you are the presentation. When you're giving a presentation, the PPT point is not the presentation. You are the presentation. You have to present yourself. You have to explain. You are in the limelight. You are the hero of the entire presentation. Whatever you say is all about presenting your viewpoints, conveying your message to the audience. So it is a safety net what you have for you when you forget things. People when they go blind, they no when they go blank when they are able to give their presentation. So whenever they are going to give a presentation, they say that I'm going blank, right? So that clearance of thought, that blankness what they have. So this safety net can actually help them to recollect. Many of us will remember in our school days also, when you have to, give orals, just give your answers like a viva, when teacher asks you the question, so you have to give the answer. You have the problem of starting, you know you're not able to start the points. So starting becomes, so you ask the teacher, just tell me the starting point, then I will be able to answer. Many, I also had this problem. I hope some can relate it. But then if you go blank, end of the day, if your mind goes blank, this acts as a safety net. Now outline your speech. As I told you, just a structure of it. Use paper or cards, that's fine. Referring to notes is generally acceptable as long as you are not reading your speech. I just spoke to you about it 2 minutes ago. So with this backup, you may never even use your notes, but they can reduce the butterflies. It's okay you're not using it. It is like the insurance policy. It's not mandatory that I'm going to be admitted next year and use my policy money. No, it is just an insurance. It's just an assurance that things are fine. Okay, if something goes wrong, I have a backup here. So even if you're not using the notes, it's fine. But it is just saving yourself from the butterflies what you want to have in your stomach. Yeah. The most eminent point is about reduce fear of audience. Now, the more important the audience or the occasion, the greater your fear can be. So, audience are important, the occasion is important, the greater your fear can be. So, see to it that you control your fear. Don't, as I told you, don't let that nervousness as that or that fearful attitude overrule your entire presentation or your entire day for that matter to give that presentation. So be confident, right? And it's absolutely fine, you know to get that pinch of nervousness, but then you have to be in control. You have to take that thing in mind. Keep in mind that you have to take control of the situation, right? Now, audience, three people, four people, 100, 1,000 people. Yes, with experience, the number of people increases, the level of confidence has to increase, and there is a little bit of nervousness. And many of them tell me that also, that nervousness is just there for 30 seconds and then it is normal. Yeah, that is absolutely true. It's fine to be a little bit nervous, but you need to reduce the fear for the audience. Fear for audience should be reduced. That is very, very important. Because for whom are you going to speak? You're going to speak for the audience. So if you're going to speak for the audience, you need to be confident. And because the audience need to, have confidence in you. So to build that trust and confidence, and whatever you're going to say, they're going to take away those facts, take away those learnings, take away those tips, or whatever you're going to speak in that presentation. So reduce that fear. Now, the negative approach, what people normally say is that visualize the audience as, as they are not very important, or the old trick, what they say. Imagine audience is in a clown in clown suits. The ridiculous image will make them, seem less important. They feel for us. Nothing that sort of. It's fine. They're all humans. We don't have to imagine somebody in some clown suit or some joker kind of a attire. No need of that. The negative image may be reflected in your speech. Of course, your voice, your attitude, what you carry while you speak will absolutely reflect when you are giving your presentation. Now, how is the positive approach and what is the positive approach? See, the audience is usually on your side. They want to hear from you what you have to say. You have to just talk to them as you are talking to your friends. See the informal situation, what you do if you have to narrate a new movie you watched first day, first show, you're narrating your friends, narrating it to your friends in the cafeteria or maybe somewhere outside. 4 5 people around you, and you start narrating the same way. Just talk to them as you're talking to your friends, but then don't be very casual, hi, hello, and all. Just maintain that professionalism and speak very formally and professionally when it comes to your presentations at your workplace, right? So because audience is already at your side, they are there for you. They have to listen. I mean, they're there to listen. They have to listen, that is one, but then they are there for, to you to speak, and they are there to listen to you. So reduce that audience fearness, what we say, the fear of audience, reduce that. And also keep in mind, they are there to listen to you. You have something to share with them, but at the same time, equally there are times where they also know better, but it's all right. And it is not very important that you know everything. Not necessary that you have to know everything. You are not Google, so that's absolutely fine. Having the, what we say, fear towards the audience, because audience might know more. What if they make fun of you? That's all perfectly all right. Even if they know more, it's perfectly all right. You can actually tackle it very honestly, very, frankly. They will be accepting it, right? The last point is about relax. Relax before, just, you know you're going to give your presentation. Relax yourself just before you speak. 2 breaths to settle you before you get out of your chair. So thank the person who has introduced you. If Mr. Kevin has introduced you, so over to you, Jose. Thank you very much, Kevin. Thanks for the introduction. So good morning, everybody. So let's get started with the presentation. So I would like to ask you, so thank that person who's introducing you, right? Meet the people. So take 2 breaths to settle you, settle you before you get out of the chair. Then count to 5 before you start speaking. That doesn't mean that 1 2 3 4 loudly. Just in your mind. Some people just prepare themselves like this. Okay, let's start then. So that is the, warm up kind of a stage to prepare yourself to speak and settle, right? So this will allow the audience to get settled and get ready to listen to you, what you have to say. You're preparing, even audience, they are also preparing themselves. Okay, fine, the speaker has come, he's going to say something great. Okay, fantastic. So generate that energy while you speak. That doesn't mean that you shout top of your voice, but generate that energy, that positive vibe when you start at the very beginning of the presentation. That's when it will be, it will be an enthusiastic program or the presentation or a meeting. It's not about jumping in all the meetings or something like that. If something, some achievements are there, absolutely you can be happy and, jovial. Sometimes the agenda is shared with people when you're giving presentation, and generally also don't be very boring. Be a little bit energetic when you speak to people. It also shows the way you have control over everything, and you have taken the control. You are going to speak and others are going to listen, so you are in control of that particular room for that time being. Now the next technique is about stress control breathing, centered in your abdomen, not your chest. Don't breathe from here. No, it's from your abdomen, from your belly, right? Stage one: inhale air and let your abdomen go out. Fill your abdomen with air. Then when you exhale, let your abdomen go in. Let all the air come outside. That is stage one, breathing technique. Then as you inhale, you use soothing words so that you calm yourself. You say, such like calm, I'm relaxing, I feel calmed, I'm okay, I'm all right. This breathing exercise you can just do 3 times, inhale and exhale, right? And use this soothing words when you actually inhale, right? Then come to the wave technique. Under stress, breathing and speaking can get uncoordinated. You're speaking also, you're nervous also. So breathing. So it's not. So it's between. You have to speak between the inhale and exhale concept. The crest, right? If you see the crest word here, crest. You have to speak at the crest level. You know. So that doesn't mean that you have to go. You have to count. I'm going inhale and I exhale. I can speak. No, it is coordinated. It's natural. So nothing. You don't have to put any kind of an extra effort for this. It's absolutely fine. So to coordinate breathing and speaking, begin speaking at the crest level. Okay, when you inhale, then you start speaking. So start at the crest level, then exhale. Then there is, the process will actually go according to you, according to the breath and the speaking level. Okay. Okay. So with this note, we have come to the end of the session here, right? So before we close the session, let's see. There's a mini quiz for you. Are you able to answer it or not? Number one, why are most people afraid to speak to a group? They fear the audience. Option A is they fear the audience will get angry at them. B, they're afraid of looking foolish. C, it is an excuse for their incompetence. So the answer would be B. Correct. Please put the answer in the comment box. Second, how can you gain confidence in your speaking ability? Gather together a series of small speaking successes. Option A. Option B, only speak before people you know. And option C, have several alcoholic drinks before speaking. Right. So it is obviously A. Right. I was just laughing for the option C there. Uh, Last question: how can you reduce fear of your audience? Option A, visualize them as friendly toward you. B, don't look at them while you speak. And C, tell them you are better than they are. The option is A. Perfect. So you need to visualize them as your friends, because you don't look at them while you speak. That means there is no eye contact. So if I have to speak to you, I'm speaking like this. Okay, today we are going to speak about this topic. No. So eye contact as a friend, just go ahead and speak. Tell them you are better than they are. That is not possible. I've mentioned there might be chances that audience might know more than what you know. So that won't be the answer. Right? So with this note, we conclude our session. Thank you very much. So in this first part, we have covered what to speak and how to prepare. You know, what is the general tips. Now, in a presentation, body language is very important. I'll tell you what is the. I'm pretty sure you will also agree with me that it is 55% of your communication skills is given to body language, the non-verbal communication skills, right? So work upon that. We are going to look at what kind of body language you should have when you're going to give your presentation. So that will be continued in the part 2. I hope the session has given some value to you. Thank you very much once again. Support the channel, like, subscribe, and share the channel. Learn with Michael. I will see you in the next session, Professional Presentation Skills Part 2. Till then, thank you very much and incorporate whatever you have learned in today's class. Thank you all. Be safe.